How you doing? This is Black Shy Guy. Once again, you're in our podcast and you're in a new episode, and we're gonna dive into another trilogy that has found us, I don't know, debating and how this damn game was allowed in the living rooms of most of our kids and even our adult life. I mean, this game has been, I don't even know what to call it. It's almost like you're playing porn in your damn living room. Listen, we're talking about Grand Theft Auto here. We got Drano, we got Prodigal Son, yeah, it's Chi-Town right now. Thanks for sitting at our table. Thanks for sitting at our podcast. We really appreciate it. We also got the video going to be loaded up a day after it's loaded up on Spotify. So make sure you check it out if you want to see us visually. We really appreciate the support. Thank you once again from Chi-Town. Yes, we're diving into Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, and this game, when I was a kid, I don't even know how I got to play this game because I don't even know how I was allowed to play the damn game because I believe if my parents at the time knew what this game was, I would not have been allowed to play this damn game. You know what I mean? I would not have been allowed to play this damn game. This game has so much adult content in it. So much adult content in it. Not even funny. Not even funny. I mean, it has even to the point, yes, we're going to continue with Grand Theft Auto 3, which is Grand Theft Auto 1 for a lot of people. The protagonist does not have a name. I don't know who the hell the protagonist is. All I know, he looks like a Tom Cruise in a leather jacket. That's all I know. That's all I know. I know he got freaking backstabbed by the mob. He wants revenge, and he sets out on all sorts of missions that leads him to finally getting his revenge. How was the game for me? The game was absolutely fantastic. The point of Grand Theft Auto, what made me feel in a way that I should not have been playing this game at the age I was playing it is because for some reason they finally made a game that it was fun to be a criminal. It was fun to be a criminal. A lot of games are made for you to be a hero, for you to save the world, for you to basically be the power of change that's allowed a lot of positivity to a lot of other individuals. But Grand Theft Auto, it was so selfless. He was out for you. He was killing anybody who was getting in your way. And that's all that mattered was you and the money, the guac, the dough. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So Grand Theft Auto was absolutely a joy for me. And I don't know. I don't know how Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto the trilogy alone was for you guys, but I don't know how I was allowed to play it. What about you guys? Drano, you can go ahead first.
Oh man, Grand Theft Auto 3 for me, mind you, I was young. I was young playing that game, and like as you said, Grand Theft Auto 3 was basically part one for me. And I got this dude who don't say nothing. He's a mute. Don't say nothing. And all of a sudden, I'm shooting anything that moves, and that's okay. Anything that moves, I mean, that was new for me. Stealing cars, doing the wrong thing, blowing people up. I'm not gonna lie. I was the godfather of death right there, right there. I was like, yo,
Thing.
this is real life. This is what we do here.
Yes,
And then
sir.
all of a sudden, this is the first game where before you go on a mission, you go get a prostitute real quick. You get 150 extra. You get 150 extra life. If you smash her real quick, you get some extra life, and it's a body armor, and you out to the next mission. I was like,
Oh God.
even though
Wow.
some, even though some of them charge more than others, but we're not gonna get into that.
You gotta admit it though. I gotta admit it. I'm sorry I had to jump in. You gotta admit it. That was the first time a lot of people got ass in their life. That was the first time they got ass. That was in Grand Theft Auto.
Take it easy.
So getting virtual ass. Okay, all right. Maybe for some, yeah, that was the first time. So maybe they thought that's how they do it in real life, but
Hey, nothing wrong with having ass in the vehicle. I'm
Take it
just
easy.
being honest here. Just be
Take
You
it
had
honest.
easy.
you had no choice in the vehicle because you couldn't take him to a hotel. You didn't want to be
Yeah,
seen.
yeah. That was later. That was hot coffee. That was hot
Yeah,
coffee. That's
Oh
later. Now I'm talking
God.
about hot coffee. Talking about
but that
hot
was
coffee.
Grand Theft was for me. You know,
Yeah.
you want messages for people and stuff like that, and even people you had to cross down the line because it's
Yep.
business, it ain't personal. But that's what it was for me.
Yeah, man. Grand Theft. I remember my little brother playing the other ones, the Grand Theft 1 and 2, where it was just the top down, and you were just in the car on the street. It had very little on the street playing. It was just pretty much mainly the car. I remember him playing that, and it looked interesting, man. But it wasn't what 3 did. 3 just turned around. 3 changed the generation. Actually, that's what 3 did.
Absolutely it
3
did.
changed the generation because now you had everybody mapping their games toward what 3 was doing because it was crazy. I mean, just like Drano said, the prostitute action and just every other just missions, the kind of missions that you never saw in a game before, where your missions, like you said, you're a criminal. Your missions are to kill. Your missions are to maim. Your missions are to do things that make you a criminal. That's going to build your criminal empire rather than build your character as somebody that's going to save the princess at the end of the game. You're not trying to save no princesses in here. Ain't no princesses to save in Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? Like Shy Guy said, it's about you. It's about your money. You're looking at that. You're looking at that ticker up top. You're trying to see how much money you got, even though the money don't really mean anything. You want $1 billion to be up there. You want to max out your dough. You want everything you could get. And just the free form of the game. You never saw anything like this. I don't have to go do the mission. I just want to run people over and shoot people in the street today.
Yep.
I don't feel like doing no missions. I
Yep.
just want to do fire engine missions, or I want to do cab missions, or I want to do cop missions. Whatever I want to do, the free form of that game was what was the beauty of it. And in that made the genre that we see today where it's ridiculous, where you have so many games. It's the Saints Rows, every other game that's followed GTA, but couldn't do it as well as GTA did it. But what GTA did for me, it really opened up my eyes to what video games can be.
And that's what's up. I mean, Grand Theft Auto, like I said, was a game changer. Like it brought adult content into gaming to me for the first time in an extravagant way because it had sexual content, it had language, it had extreme violence in it. It was basically a full rated R game in your living room. And let's be honest, I don't know. And listen, I'm not above correction. If there was a game that had such amount of high adult content that I forgot of, then let me know. But I believe Grand Theft Auto was the first game that had that level of content in a
Now, you
game.
might be
And let's be honest, despite it saying it had an adult rating, I believe, in the game, correct? Did it have an adult labeling on the game?
M for
I'm
mature.
not
I think
sure.
He has M
But
for
is it
mature,
mature?
but did it, I guess that's their rating. Of course, it's going to be M for mature. It'd be ludicrous not to have an M for mature for that game. But correct me if I'm wrong because the game did come out in 2001, but I don't want to reveal my age because I'm forever linked like the Legend of Zelda. I'm forever young. People who don't know.
Nobody looks at ESRB anyway. Who looks at ESRB? Did you ever
Huh?
look at the ESRB on the game?
I don't. I just copy it. I don't look at.
I
I don't look
know,
at
I
that.
know,
Who
but
looks at that?
when you walked in the store and you said, "Listen, I want that Grand Theft Auto 3," did they ask for any ID when they presented you
Let's be
that game or
serious.
anything?
You ever been asked for ID on a game? Let's be serious, man.
Yeah,
Baby.
come on now. Let's stop. Let's stop
Listen,
it.
it's rated M for mature. You think I'm not
Come on.
sure if little kids who were 16 and was given
Yeah,
money was able to go inside the store and say, "Hey, I want to play Grand Theft Auto. I
they
want to buy
were.
it."
They were.
See,
Yes, they
see,
were. It wasn't. They didn't ask for ID. They asked for, oh, yo, it's that'd be $50, please. They ain't asked for ID.
Please, man, let's be
Wow.
serious.
Can you believe? I mean, before we dive more into the game, can you believe that stores were basically not, I mean, fully in control of that? For the fact that they allowed kids to walk in and buy a game of that content without
Let's be
checking for ID, isn't
serious.
that crazy?
That's your
Um,
parents. That's parenting. Let's be
yeah, I was
serious.
just about to say that this is where parenting comes in. You got to hold the parents accountable for letting it. If the parent is objecting to that, it's up to the parent to be like, don't you buy that game or something like that. If they sit there and let the kid do it, you can't
I
blame the
mean, but
developer.
I mean, when it comes to parenting, I can't blame the parents for that, for the simple fact that you're not gonna be focused on every single game that comes out in your kid's system. You know, and when you give your kids allowance and what they do with it, you're not gonna be always focusing on what they do with their money. You're just gonna know, hey, I know I gave you $40. Where the hell that $40 went? You know what I mean? And it's easy for the kid to say, well, I bought stuff in the store, I bought lunch, or whatever the case may be. But I think overall, it's the stores. The stores should be more attentive to who their customers are and who they're selling content to. Yes, the parents are partially involved, but let's say the parents are fully aware of what their kids is doing with their money, but yet the stores still allow sales of this content to be sold to minors. I believe the store is more accountable, don't you think? I mean, it goes both
Bottom
ways,
line,
but in a way, the
bottom
store
line,
is the one in possession of the item.
bottom line, the store is not raising my kid.
I was just about to get that.
I'm raising my kid.
I was saying, yeah, the
True.
store. I mean,
I'm raising my kid. Anything
Okay.
my kid brings into my house, you should be aware of. You should
hmm
be aware of
Mm-hmm.
it. As a parent, this is what parenting is. The
True.
kid is doing something, you should be involved, or you should be
Absolutely.
directing it
Absolutely. I
if the
100%
kids are
agree.
involved. So that's what ESRB is for. That's
True.
what it's for. So your kid brings in this game. Hey, we bought in a new game. To hey, let me see what you got.
hmm
Ah, ESRB is an M rated. I think we're taking this back, sir. I think
True.
we're taking this back, sir.
Yeah. True.
And that's what
Absolutely. But
parenting is.
we all know sneakiness. I mean, we're diving into another subject that's very interesting, and I believe there's nothing wrong with us diving into it because it does deal with Grand Theft Auto and the content it possesses. And I think the fact that kids were able to walk into any store and purchase this game is accountable to both. I don't believe it's 100% accountable to only the parents. I believe it's accountable to both. It's like if you lose your credit card and someone picks up your credit card and is able to walk into the store and say, hey, I want to purchase this, and they don't check the ID of that credit card. Whose fault is it? The store's, isn't
Exactly.
it?
Exactly. So is it Grand Theft Auto's fault? Some kid runs in the store and shoots up the play or runs somebody
Oh,
over with a
no,
plate.
no, no. I'm never
That's
blaming the
Grand
game.
Theft Auto's fault.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm never blaming the game because
Let's
content should
go.
be made for
Let's
whatever age possible, and it should not be held limited just because things happen in the world. No way. I'm just saying that, like you, I believe we're leaning towards the same goal here, Prodigal Son. I think we're leaning to the same goal, and I believe that the stores are more liable for their actions. I believe they're more liable for their actions. And I believe Grand Theft Auto, if I do remember, was allowed to be sold to any type of minor who walked in the store as long as they had the money, just like Drano says. As long as you had that $49.99 at the time, or I'm not sure if games were $60 at that point. I believe games were only $49.99, right?
I'll agree. Yeah.
I believe $39.99. I believe $39.99 in 2001 was the price of gaming.
Actually, it could have been. Yeah, 2001. It could have been. Certain
Yeah.
games could have been.
Yeah, I believe
it was
$39.99. Even though at that time $39.99 was like $60 for a lot of us.
Yeah, it was like what?
So,
$40 for game fight? Yeah, that's true.
yeah. So it was like, whoa, that $40 is a lot. Now we're paying for games that are $69.99. You know what I mean? A la Last of Us bullshit remake. But anyway, let me not dive in there. But yes, Grand Theft Auto. And the thing is about Grand Theft Auto 1, right? The protagonist was nameless. He was nameless. He had no name. He was like someone out for vengeance, and we never questioned who this man was. What was his true background? What was his true intentions to other than just getting revenge? You know what I mean? It felt like a game that you just grabbed and you went out and got yours. Basically, to me, the goal was money in that game. Other than revenge, it was money. The Grand Theft Auto really did not have a base story. It was like, you're out for revenge and you're out for money. Go play the game. It's like,
because the game was that wide open, and I think that was just tantamount to what the game was. The game is so wide open and so clearly do what you want to do to have fun that it didn't really need to direct you with a linear story.
mm-hmm.
You didn't need to direct you with that. Go out in my world and have fun with it. Get the shotgun, get the rocket launcher, get a bunch of stuff, do some missions, get some guns, and go out there and tear my city up.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing it didn't have in the game was per se the destruction of, like, per se a Red Faction game where you could really, really destroy the city. But I mean, you could blow up cars and stuff and kill people, but you really couldn't do anything to the city, to the buildings or anything. They didn't let you do too much to that stuff. If they would have had that type of destruction, now you're talking about an entirely different game, and you're able to use the game physics in missions. Maybe that's something they want to try to incorporate into Grand Theft, but I don't know, especially with the direction that they're going now. They're way off into the weeds. Who knows what the next Grand Theft is going to be?
Was his name ever mentioned in Grand Theft Auto 3 in any cutscene? Because I
No.
know they got his name set as Claude, but did his name was
Vincent.
yeah,
Vincent.
no, it was
like that.
Claude.
Claude?
Yeah, but
Really?
yeah, did they ever say the name in the game though?
No, never.
No.
The name might have been mentioned in San Andreas.
Well, San Andreas was San Andreas.
They just referenced to him, but I don't know if they mentioned his name.
Yeah, I don't think they ever said, "Hey, Claude, make sure you go kill that dude," or "Hey, Claude, here's your money."
No,
they never said anything.
him. Like they said with that guy back in Liberty City, something like that.
Yeah. That's they all knew. And I remember. What happened, Drano?
No. That was in part 5 where they mentioned him in Liberty City. In San Andreas, you actually saw him. You actually saw him and that girl before she betrayed him in Grand Theft Auto 3. When you out in the woods, and you race for the pink slip,
Oh,
that girl,
yeah.
his ex-girlfriend.
I forgot all about that.
Wow, that's wow, that's crazy.
How you remember that? I forgot all about that scene.
That's crazy.
That's why I think she mentioned his name.
That's why I think they mentioned. You know what? I'm gonna try to look up that scene because I completely forgot about that scene, and you just hit my memory block. Once you mentioned that, I see the scene as clear as day. It's like, how the hell did I not remember that one? Like, I mean,
encyclopedia. We got our encyclopedia.
For you guys who don't know, Drano is just like he's an encyclopedia. I mean, period. He's like,
dude, this is our dude.
Like he's a memory block. But so they never. But so Drano, did they mention the name even in that storyline in that part when they revealed him in that thing?
And I think the girl Catalina, she might have mentioned his name once. Like it might be. I think it's either Vincent or Claude, whichever one of those. Like Claude, let's go, and he don't say nothing then either.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
Of course.
Too.
Because let's admit it, Claude is the most famous Grand Theft Auto character of everyone. Sure? He's the most. To me, he's the most famous.
I don't know about that.
What?
I thought CJ was.
No,
I thought CJ.
I'm thinking Tommy Vercetti.
You believe CJ is more famous than Claude?
Oh no, sorry. I'm saying. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Not more famous, more like relatable. People like going toward that. No.
You hit it on the nose there. He is more relatable. He is more relatable.
Not more
CJ
famous.
Is way more relatable. But Claude was
Tommy
just.
Tommy Vercetti got the whole Scarface thing going on, man. Dudes love Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy reminded me of Tommy in the Book of Power. You know what I mean? Like that's what Tommy reminded me of.
Nah,
Because
he's
now when you see
Scarface,
the Book of Power, Tommy Vercetti reminds you of Tommy.
Just killing
That is
everybody.
Scarface. That
But
is Scarface.
he did have a whole Scarface vibe because he had that little Miami thing going, which
Yeah.
I'm
But
telling
he had
you.
the shirt and everything.
But Tommy Vercetti, I'm sorry, he was not Claude, not Claude, man. Claude, he was like,
Okay.
imagine Claude caught you, and he didn't mention not one word. He just caught you with who he was and his actions.
Yeah,
I
get
you know
why
how powerful of a character you got to be to do that.
I get why you're saying that. I could get that.
Tommy was dynamic. He was flamboyant. You know what I mean? The Claude was a bum. He was a bum. Tommy was dynamic. He was a gangster, a real gangster. He came up in the game. He's Scarface. He rose from nothing and came up to be.
I'm not gonna lie. Tommy Vercetti had the most dynamic ending. I'm not gonna lie. In a boss
Yes, sir.
fight. That boss fight in the end when you ran into that mansion looking for dude, that was fire. That was even better when Claude, because Claude in the end.
It was
say
fire
that again,
for real.
Drano?
That's the Scarface vibe that Prodigal Son is talking about.
Yeah. That it's crazy that now that we're reimagining the game, we're catching scenes that they bit off of, because that was like, even though in Scarface they ran on him in his mansion, Tommy Vercetti ran into the mansion after the dude, and so they did a vice versa in that part of the game. But even though Claude and the ending of Claude's game, it was in a whole it was a junkyard scene that you ran into to finally get the dude in the helicopter.
If I'm not mistaken,
yeah, it was like a junkyard warehouse. That was the ending.
You might have been right, but I know he's because remember he's chasing his ex-girl because she betrayed him.
Yeah.
So it's her and another man. So yes, it's like I know they ended up in water or something like that or something.
No, it was in a warehouse where the ending boss was in a helicopter. I don't know if it was the dude in the helicopter or his girl or his ex, because you had to shoot down that helicopter.
No, you're right. No, you're right about
that. Because I remember I kept dying in that shit, and it pissed me off. I kept dying. It was pissing me off. It was like it was just so never ending. I'm like, how the hell can I shoot at that the way the chopper moved? I know now we're looking at it and you're like, how the hell did I play such a choppy game? But at that point in time, you were like, wow, this chopper, the one who's driving a chopper knows how to drive. No, it's that the game was damn too choppy for you to get a good aim on a damn chopper. And remember, the aim mechanic of Grand Theft Auto wasn't great. It was so bad.
It was what we had, though.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, remember, you hit the button and it's supposed to lock on the target. So a lot of times when I aimed at the chopper, I aimed at the dude that was shooting me across the way. I'm like, I don't want to shoot the dude. I want to shoot the chopper, man. Like, why you keep aiming at the dude? So it was, oh man, I fought with the aim mechanic of Grand Theft Auto 3 so much, but despite that, the game was amazing. And CJ, let's go to CJ a bit, because CJ, he was so relatable, and that game to me really brought the streets in your house. I mean, the way they spoke in that game. And that's why I say, Drano, you hit it on the nose with that, because it was so relatable, because it felt like I was in school when I played that game. It felt like I was hanging with friends in the basketball court when I was playing that game. And yeah, I know a lot of people was going to say, well, they brought a lot of rappers. They brought a lot of people who act like rappers into the game, etc., like that, whatever. But for people who don't live in that type of dynamic neighborhood or whatever, don't understand what was happening in that game, because for a lot of us who lived in those type of neighborhoods and neighborhoods that spoke like that, it was so relatable. So I think that's why CJ has such a dramatic it was so dramatic. It was just so dramatic. So I think CJ, to me, was the most relatable character out of all the Grand Theft Autos.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Because of the way he spoke, the way he carried himself, and 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 that was it. But to me, I still stand as Claude being the most famous. CJ was just the more relatable. That's me. That's me, obviously, in my opinion. CJ was the more relatable. But that game was crazy. That also brought a whole dynamic of adult like content into the fray, and
Yes.
and to me it was even more vulgar than the last one. I mean, what say you guys? Like, I mean,
Go ahead, Drano.
Oh man, wow. When we talk about vulgar, that might have pushed it to the ultimate limit. Ooh,
I think vulgar's the minimum that we can use for that game.
Really,
That
though.
game was just
Really.
pure gangster. That game was just street.
but see, that game was pure street. That game was you saw, you dealt with pure cocaine. You dealt with people stepping on each other, trying to rise to the top. You felt the fact of, yo, I'm chilling with my homies real quick. Yo, we in, and plus they took a lot of California for that map,
Mm-hmm.
and really changed it up. And that was one of the games where you could get property. You could get property.
Yep,
They
you can get
actually
property in that game.
Yeah.
allowed you to get property, and that was actually one of the first. Not saying now, but at the time that was one of the most open world maps. That map was huge, of where you could drive through, where you could drive to, what you can do, because you could jump out of planes like you a damn superhero, like you Tom Cruise, jump out of planes and drive dirt bikes and so on and so on. That game, San Andreas, pushed it at the time to the limit of, you could do just about anything here, and almost anything goes.
Yes, sir.
CJ being
Mhm.
relatable was also the thing on. You could be like, that could be me out there just doing what I got to do, because CJ's story was a bit different. He was remember he went to Liberty City actually and had to get called back because his mother
Yep.
died and stuff like that. And so he had to be forced a bit to be a criminal, to just get out of the way. And well, we all know the story, so I need to jump and dive in. But it was a bit different. But as Black Shark said, like, it's relatable. He was very relatable.
Yeah, please, relatable ain't the friggin' word. I mean, when I started playing that game, I couldn't believe how they would talk. I couldn't believe it. I was almost, it was almost embarrassing to me to hear how they was talking, because I'm like, yo, they are opening the door. I'm like, yo, they're opening the door. What are they doing? How are they letting them, you know what I mean? See, this is like the essence of how we talk and how we relate to each other, the essence of it. Like, they get into like, y'all sent somebody to the hood, man.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They did.
Somebody to
They
the hood,
did.
man.
They did.
Get all this information. Y'all got
They
too
did.
much. Y'all got too much. Word is bond. I'm like, this is so close to what we are and what we do every day in the hood. Like, it's scary almost. It's scary. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
What Cats is gonna learn from this game. You know what I mean? With Cats, I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? And that's what was really sparking me in CJ's quest. But the stuff that you could do, like I said, just start you jumping out and getting property. You could have a dog. You know what I mean? What I really loved was the gang faction. You jumping in the whip with 4 of your homies, and son, we gonna go bang these dudes. Yo, son, you got your gas, son? Oh, get your yo, what up, homie? Yo, jump in the car, homie. Yo, we out.
And you know
Yeah.
what? And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, right? You guys noticed. With what's going on in the world today, as we speak, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, remember, came out at a time, obviously, where it was more peaceful. Remember the story, the main story of that game is that CJ was basically got into a situation with a corrupted cop is where it all began. Can you imagine if that game came out today? Like, a black guy was betrayed by a corrupted cop. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that like mind-boggling? How what we're dealing with today with the cops. Obviously, not all cops are bad. For all those that who are joining us, we are not a couple of guys who think all cops are bad. Absolutely not. With what's going on with the world today, we're not that ignorant. I mean, just had to go really serious right there for a moment because I know it's a very very touchy subject. But what we're describing is the fact that the game had had a storyline so similar to almost was what's going on with the world today, and the fact that the storyline was a black gentleman was betrayed by a corrupted cop, and CJ coming out of the joint, entering his hood, basically had to deal with that situation, and I mean, the fact that a cop framed him and it's just
Mhm.
mind-boggling how if that game came out today, everybody will be like, "Well, see, even the white folks in the studios know what's going on. Even white folks, you know what I mean?" So it's like it's crazy that that game came out. And remember what that game also had, because I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can help me out here. Did they say the word for all those who find it really offensive? Cover your ears. But come on, we're all adults here. Come on, let's stop the judgmental frame rates going on, all right? Because I'm gonna say a couple of words that may offend people, and if you're that offensive, then come on, you're not an adult. I mean, we're having a logical adult conversation here. Did they say the word nigga a lot in that game? Like, did they say, "Yo, my nigga this, my nigga that"? Oh, they said it a
Uh,
lot, right?
yes, they said it like they said it as much times as kids like bowls of cereal. It was almost every other word. It was every other word. It was.
Yo, because I remember, because I couldn't even, yo, prodigal son, you're laughing, but I just remember a scene in that game when CJ was talking to, when when CJ walked in the house. I mean, Jano, you're the encyclopedia. Um, when CJ walked in the house, what's his name? The one that they dedicated that character to, the one who
Easy
died of
E,
AIDS.
Easy E, yes sir.
Um,
Yeah.
they walked
Easy
into a
E.
house and CJ had the shotgun, right? And
Okay.
what's his name looked at CJ and he was like, blow this nigga. Like, what? I immediately freezed in my freaking couch. I'm like, no, did this dude just say that? Did this
Yeah.
dude just say that? Like,
Yes sir.
are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Are you are you freaking
Mhm.
kidding me right now? Did they really allow
Nah,
that in the game?
dude,
Like,
Yeah.
that was so
Yeah.
scary. That
it
was what
was it,
that's what was so scary about Grand Theft, that they were taking chances nobody was taking. Nobody's doing
Mhm.
it like
oh,
that.
you're so
But
right.
Mhm.
but they are paying. The thing is, it's like the subject you had a episode ago about infiltration. Dude, they're paying such respect to the concept and the
Yeah.
material that you
Yeah.
almost gotta let them. You gotta give them carte blanche because you're paying respect to the material. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
then
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Then you can use it that way because you understand the subtle nuances of using the
Right.
word. So
Exactly.
you using it
Yep.
like it's supposed, not how it's supposed to be used, but how it would be used in a situation that we're in when it's us and
Exactly.
we're using
Agreed.
it. You know what
Very,
I
very
mean?
well put. Very well put.
Like,
So
And
true.
the thing is, this is what I say about a situation like that. And for those who don't know, we did discuss a situation when an Oriental gentleman used the word nigger, and he got basically bombarded. And this is what I'm saying. When that word is being used, people are celebrating the culture. To me, they're celebrating the culture of it, especially when you're using it in a loving manner to your friends. And when Grand Theft Auto came out, and even the developers, who we all know, most likely by when it goes to numbers, the majority of those developers are white. So the fact that they use that word in the game, and the fact that they knew by using that word, is because they knew that's the culture. They knew that's the culture of people who live in those type of neighborhoods. The people, whether you were even um white, Oriental, whatever the case may be. Because I know there was not a white person in that game that used that word. I know that. I know people are gonna come
Yeah.
out and say, "Well, there was no white person using that word." I know. I understand that. It's that. Remember, the game was made by majority of white developers by North Rockstar. So the fact that they use that word and because they knew it would cultivate the crowd and make it relatable, because you can't come out with a game like that in a neighborhood like that and all of a sudden people of color playing the game and they're like, these people are talking like a couple of people's in an Italian restaurant. We don't talk like that. So they knew they had to go there. They said, we got to go to the streets. Because correct me if I'm wrong, did they use the voices of Snoop Dogg also in that game and stuff like that?
No,
Yeah.
it was the game. I don't remember Snoop Dogg. It could have been there, but I don't remember that. I know they had the game. They had Samuel L. Jackson and James Woods. I know those three were yeah. I know those three were in
Let's see
there.
why I go to Drano when it comes to encyclopedia shit.
I ain't mad at it whatsoever. I'm not mad at it whatsoever. You know
Because
but
I knew they used a lot of colored folks to make that game, and we all know
They did.
Samuel Jackson. You can't tell that motherfucker how to talk. He's gonna talk the way he want to talk. So you try to go tell Samuel Jackson to talk like a white man, he's gonna look at you and say, "Nigga, please."
but
So-
but I think that the microcosm of what happened with that and why it got so scary is because they were using it so loosely and frequently that
Yup.
you know how Grand Theft is going to be mass consumed, not by
Absolutely.
young and old and mid. Everybody's going to be consuming this game. White, black, Chinese, every cult, everybody's going to be consuming this game. So now you're going to have, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. People are going to do what they see. People do that all the time. Now you're going to have all these people, different people, calling themselves niggas.
Yeah, and you hitting it on the nose. Keep going, prodigal son. You're hitting it on the nose.
It's true. It's true. And now you're going to have them using this word frequently, just like they're using this word frequently on the game. I want to say what CJ said.
Exactly.
Not only I want to say what CJ said, I want to say it how he said it. And I want to say it to my man. He was talking to his mans. I want to talk to my mans like that.
I'm going to clip this and put it on social media because you're hitting it on the nose. And this is what I'm saying, prodigal son, that not only people of color are going to consume it, and even people of color who never used to talk like that, they're going to consume it because they're going to be like, yo, CJ is talking reckless, but damn, he sounds so cool. I want to sound like him. I want to be him. So even people who are not of color are going to consume it.
Yes.
Is that wrong for them to consume something that's becoming so popular? Becoming so popular.
Yes, it's popular culture now. It's part of culture where you can't stop that.
Exactly. So when it goes back to what we were talking about before in that other episode, we're not gonna talk about it a lot. Make sure you go watch that episode. It's the episode about infiltration. It's on Spotify, and it's on the YouTube channel. Go check it out. But a lot of people of culture are gonna consume it, and that's why I say that you're absolutely right when you say that they took a risk because it's gonna be consumed by a lot of people of culture. I'm not gonna say a lot of people of color. It's just a lot of people of culture, whether you were Indian, Oriental, Chinese, Russian, whatever. You're gonna consume it because let's admit it. CJ sounded so cool. He sounded so relatable. And that's why Drano hit it on the nose. He was so relatable. You wanted to be like CJ because he just spoke so reckless. You know what I mean? He was like, I mean, y'all made me want to go play that game again.
I love it. I love it.
Because, and it's just, CJ was just, he was so good. And I think out of all the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas took the most chances. Because that could have been a failure if it wasn't accepted by the people of color. People of color would have been like, nope, you are not taking our culture and trying to popularize it in a way that everybody can use it. Because only we can use it. But people of color did not do that. They accepted it. It was like, wow, y'all bringing our culture out like that? Y'all bringing our language, our lingo like that? So the fact that Italians, and I'm assuming it's Italians in Grand Theft Auto 3, remember their lingo was brought out for everybody to be consumed too. You know what I mean? The rat lingo, the Mama
Okay.
Luke lingo, all of that was brought out for even people of color to hear. So now it was it was people of color's turn to consume that. So the fact that, hey, everything is relatable now. So people of color allowed it, and that was the beautiful thing of it. But despite that, San Andreas did take the most chances, and honestly, they succeeded. That game blew up big time. Now we're gonna go to Vice City, who for some odd reason, for some odd reason, Prodigal Son said Tom Vassetti is like the character to go with. It is the
Man,
character to
No,
go
man.
with. I
Tom,
don't
No.
know.
that
I
rise to riches, the whole rise to riches story, Scarface story, and you're gonna have a tough time topping that. Everybody knows that story. Everybody could relate to that story. Everybody wants to live that story, that rise to riches story. You don't want to burn at the end in the fire
oh
in the
no no
mansion.
no
You
no
want,
no no.
you want all that other stuff though.
I
You
mean,
want,
Grand Theft Auto Vice City was so good. I mean, you guys remember that scene when Vassetti opened a trunk and he was like, "You like?" and the other guy was like, "Yeah, I like." It's like, that scene alone was like, that scene alone was so Tommy Vassetti. It was like so Tommy. It was like, it was like. And remember, Tommy Vassetti brought back the Hawaiian shirts. He brought back the Hawaiian shirts. You
no,
know,
he
the
did.
Hawaiian shirts were out. He brought it back in.
Yeah.
He brought it back in.
Dude, I hope you wasn't wearing a Hawaiian shirt back
I ain't gonna lie, man. Aloha,
then.
my dude.
Mm,
Yeah, you on your own with that shit. Cause nah, no, thank you, man.
no,
I
man.
mean, you want to do that now?
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I had that blue Hawaiian Aloha shirt, and I rocked it hard body, dude. I ain't gonna lie. Shorties was peeping it. You know what I mean?
Uh, I'm not gonna say what they were peeping at. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
gonna,
gonna say.
I'm not gonna tell you.
I'll leave that to you. I'll leave that to
I'm
you.
not gonna tell you.
Hey,
Leave that to you.
listen, Vice City was a good one. Vice City was it was if you're not familiar with Vice City, just go watch a mobster movie. You know, like I won't even say The Godfather because The Godfather goes way back. Godfather does remind me of Grand Theft Auto 3 instead. Vice City
Mhm.
was almost like Scarface, just like Prodigal Son. It's a Scarface movie. It's like pure
Pretty
Scarface.
much.
It was just it was dynamic in its own way. I mean, the graphics did get a lot better because I'm not gonna lie, the Grand Theft Auto graphics are not that great, and it's very difficult to go back to. Like, I did consume, I did buy the Grand Theft Auto on Nintendo again. I did buy those on Nintendo again, and I'm not gonna lie, it hurts the eyes. It hurts the eyes to play that. And to me, Vice City finally gives you a relief pressure on your eyes because the graphics are a lot better in Vice City. The movements are a lot better in Vice City. The animations when you see them go for their gun and all of that is just so clear as day. Even San Andreas was not as clear as Vice City, and I'm glad that it just got better graphical wise. And I understand that was at the point in time that graphics to us back then were great, and I'm not avoiding that. What I'm saying is, can you actually go back and play a lot of the Grand Theft Autos now? No, you can't. You can't. I mean, unless you want to endanger your eyes.
Yeah. I think Vice City holds. I think Vice City holds up because of the source material. It being that it's like that Miami-based, California type base is more colorful. Like you said, the Hawaiian shirts and all that. Whereas the Grand Theft Auto 3 and CJ's and San Andreas, they're more rural and more city. And city's more dusty, dirty, you know what I mean, greens and browns, you know what I'm saying? Then the real colors of Miami, the yellows and pinks and sky blues, and you know what I mean. It's just different areas. I think that's the difference between those games. They were meant the Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas per se were meant to be darker, and Grand Theft was meant to be a brighter, more colorful game. It'll probably hold up today.
I mean, as we all know, we know you guys didn't think that we were gonna pay true respect to the man who portrayed Tommy, and that was Ray Liotta, who passed away not too long ago. Salute to that man, for real. That man is a real legend. And he
Indeed.
portrayed Tommy Vercetti to T, and as you know, that's why you love Tommy Vercetti, because Ray Liotta was such a fantastic actor. He
Yes,
was
sir.
he's a legend. Period. He's just a legend. Any movie you saw Ray in, you had to watch it. I mean, period, because he was such a good either an antagonist or protagonist. He was just great at what he did. So salute and respect. And I do believe they should come out with a special edition Grand Theft Auto Vice City with Ray Liotta on the cover. That would be fire, dude. That would be fire. And that would
Mm.
sell like hotcakes. Trust.
Wow. Yeah.
Trust.
Please.
That would sell
I
like
mean,
hotcakes. If they come
Oh my
out with
God.
a Grand Theft Auto Vice City collector's edition of Ray Liotta in the cover, and then imagine Ray Liotta in the cover, right, in the front cover, and Tommy Vercetti fully covering the back cover. Holy shit, that shit would sell like fire.
Don't put it past them. You're giving away ideas over here. Don't put it past them.
Hey, listen, yo, Rockstar, yo, I gave you an idea right there. Listen, my check, I want it directly into my account. You heard? And don't let it
Yeah.
be less
Keep
than
waiting for that.
1.5 mil. You heard?
Keep waiting for that, sir.
Hey,
Keep
yeah,
waiting.
damn, prodigal son, let a nigga live, dude.
Nah,
Like,
man.
god damn.
Mm-mm. Man, listen.
Damn.
You see what they doing over there, Rockstar? They making all kinds of money reselling Grand Thefts. Man, listen, they are
Hey,
relentless.
people are buying it. I mean, listen, look how long it took Grand Theft Auto to come out on Nintendo, because the fact that Nintendo is dedicated to kids, look how long it took that game to come out on Nintendo. They knew. They was like, want to do it? Yeah, want to do it. You really want to do it? Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, but yeah, they should come out with a Ray Liotta special edition, Vice City, and Vice City was I loved Vice City. I really love Vice City. It was pretty much of the same character, betrayed, getting back into the game, trying to blow up again, trying to reclaim. I think the story of Vice City was a little different though. Was he wasn't truly trying to reclaim and become the boss, was he? Like, let me see. I don't think he was really trying to
I think if I'm not mistaken, he had to it was a deal going wrong, him and another guy, and then I think he had to pay back a debt in the beginning, and the same dude that he had to pay back the debt, he ended up taking the mansion from, if I'm not mistaken. Then he did it with his friend Lance the Pants that he always made fun of. Remember Lance the Pants, whatever.
yeah.
So, if I'm not mistaken, they'll correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that's how it happened. Him just trying to.
Lance
It
the
started with him
Pants.
paying back a debt, then him just rising to the ranks. So it's kind of like what Prodigal Son said, like rise the rise, something like that. So
Yeah, because I know it was a drug deal gone wrong, but
mhm.
it was basically betrayal once again. Usually what
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto is always about is someone betrayed someone.
uh,
And you
yeah,
know, in the streets, that betrayal is a thing is popular
it's,
among that type of life. Betrayal, you're always gonna have somebody betrayed, because there's always gonna be someone who wants more. Always, always.
mhm,
There's gonna be
yep.
someone who's not satisfied with what they got, despite it being a lot. They always want more. It's unlimited. It's unlimited. So Tommy had to deal with that situation. Obviously, he got the damn thing done. it was it was once again Grand Theft Auto pushing the limits in that game. I don't think that the game was vulgar once again, but not as vulgar to me as the one who did it last. Like San Andreas to me was the most aside from I believe Grand Theft Auto 5, because Grand Theft Auto 5 finally, to me, finally brought back that level of aggressive vulgarness equally. Because I think the fact that they had all the characters, a majority of characters, like multi characters,
Mm-hmm.
so they brought back everything into one game, and that's why 5 is so popular because it had multitude of characters. So I mean, it had, take it away, Drano. The characters in 5.
Michael, Trevor, and Franklin. Yeah,
Yeah,
Franklin was the hood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Michael was
Yeah.
the kind of clawed guy because he got
Yup,
shit
yup,
done,
yup.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. And Trevor was the crazy guy that was like, yo, we
Yeah, he
doing
was a
anything.
crazy pilot driven guy.
Yeah.
So they had all those characters. So that's why Grand Theft Auto 5 was so popular because it had 3 coaches in one game. And and that's why they rode on that game for how long? Even to this day, it's still popular. It's
Please,
even to
still
this
going.
day.
Selling it again. They're
Yes.
selling it again.
Yes.
HD 4K version.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
The
disgusting.
downloadable content of that game is so ridiculous because you can't complain that you got 3 coaches in one game, in one freaking game. And that's why it's lasting so long. I mean, when you got coaches, like when you got 3 coaches colliding, and the fact that the characters meet is crazy. You know what I mean? It's just mind-boggling. So Grand Theft Auto managed to it managed to basically grab a hold of that type of genre of gaming, and nobody's knocking them now. I'm surprised they have no competition. I'm surprised nobody's trying to dive into that type of gaming, into that type of world, knowing how much Grand Theft Auto is making a killing off of it. Is no other developer willing to challenge Rockstar for that? I mean, I
Right.
don't get it.
They actually tried.
Who?
Prodigal Son mentioned it. Saints Row tried. It tried. It had. I'm not gonna say it rivaled it. I'm just gonna say it tried. Saints Row 1 and 2 tried.
Yeah,
Part three.
yeah,
Part
that's
three was
true.
part three was goofy, part three was goofy and funny, part three was my favorite. But it was goofy and funny. But then part four went way off the rails. But they tried. But Grand Theft Auto always shows why it's king because as as you said, they took the risk. They take the risk to do something, and it's like, damn, it's paying off. Plus, it seems like they do their damn research too. I'm not gonna lie. It seems like they do their research very well to put out the correct content at the right time and to grab the good amount of people that can keep this stuff going.
Because I know the writers. I don't know if Dan Hauser is the writer of every single Grand Theft, but Jesus, he's a good damn writer. Because
They pay such
That's a good question.
respect.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a very good question.
because
It's just I think it's the whole team as a whole. They pay such respect to the source material that they're about to emulate. It's nobody's doing that. I don't know anybody that's doing that or anybody that's being allowed to do that, or maybe it's the amount of money that they got that they're able to do that type of research, put people out in the street. Like, dude, I want the real stuff. I don't want, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want a couple of guys in the studio and you guys think you know what you're doing now. I want real stuff in the street. Like even the way people move on the street. You see the way people move on
Yeah.
the street, the way people walk around the street. Even the way people move on the street, they got that emulated. Like how people move on the street. It's incredible what they do over there at Rockstar. They really into what they do. And it's what's really incredible is how long they've had the reins. Like, dude, Grand Theft been running the last Grand Theft been running for like 10 years now.
More,
Wow.
man. Actually, you want
I
to be honest.
mean,
Grand
but
Theft
I
Auto
gotta, I gotta admit it though. I mean, I know it's a team, but when you got when you got a writer like Hauser who also did, he actually also did the San Andreas, the writing on that. It, it, it- it's gonna be hard to beat that. I mean, to me, a great game starts with a great story, and a great and a great relatable one at that. And if it's not relatable, you're not gonna. To me, you're gonna play it. Absolutely, you're gonna play it first. But then after playing it, you gotta relate to it. After you relate to it, that's when you give it a final judgment, whether it's a game for you and whether it can be replayed. For the simple fact that you feel basically. Let's keep it simple. Feel the fire of the game. And I think great respects goes to the writers. Great respect goes to those writers. And I mean that game even won best voice actors. So I guess Samuel Jackson won something off of that. So I mean, it shows why Grand Theft Auto, once again, we're going back to San Andreas, is in a way it's looking like it's the king right now.
right now for a long time as
Uh,
far as
looking like it's the king right now. San Andreas. I mean, to me, three will always be the most famous because of what it started. Because the original, let's be honest, always gonna be what started it all, and what is always gonna remain is always gonna remain famous. But Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas look like it's king in it when it comes to relatability, and five just took those two, connected it, and just blew it out the water. And now five to me is reign supremes and it's king of the hill right now. And nobody's knocking it down. And like you guys said, there's nobody who's able to knock them down. Like all those other games tried, and no one can match an action adventure game like Grand Theft Auto. And I don't even know if anybody's trying something new. Did you guys hear anything about a new game coming out relatable to Grand Theft Auto? Type of game? Like, is there a new Saints Row coming out in the near
yeah,
future?
in August. There's a new Saints Row coming out in August. But again, I don't think it's going to be as serious as Grand Theft Auto. I think they're going to keep that funny type thing,
Oh
funny
my
type way
god.
of going about your missions. I don't think there's going to be something serious to challenge Grand Theft Auto like that. Is it going to be a good game? It probably can be, but can it challenge Grand Theft? I don't.
Then I don't think I don't think it's gonna be even close
They
to.
need it to be successful. They need it to be successful. In order to sustain this money, they better make sure it's successful. They better make sure.
Really,
Make sure.
let's be serious.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, but I don't even think Saints Row is gonna be able to do that. I mean, if you, especially when you don't got, I don't even think Saints Row has a large fan base at all. I think they have a cult, but I don't think they have a large fan base whatsoever. I mean, it never grabbed me, honestly. Saints Row never grabbed me. I don't know if it grabbed you guys.
I played one, two, and I played one. I played. Well, honestly, I played. No, not part one. I played two, three, and four.
Wow, you played way more than I did.
Really, though,
Mhm.
I haven't played those games. I mean, I'm assuming that they're just as big as the Grand Theft games, which would mean that they're seriously time consuming. So I just never got into those games, but because I'm into the Holy Grail. I'm into Grand Theft, so I never even gave them a chance. But um, if they're relatable to a point where I should, I'm always open to a great game. I just haven't seen where people are saying, "Yo, that is something you got to play." Oh, them Saints Row games. Oh, you better run out and play that. It's something you're missing out on. It's a clone, but it's worth playing.
Mm. Well,
I won't be that guy to tell you. It's around.
me
I
either.
won't do
I
that to you.
won't. I honestly will
Only,
not. I won't.
only thing I'll tell you is it's Saints Row 3 is fun. If you into fun, it is sort of a yes, it's along the lines of Grand Theft Auto, meaning it's open, you driving around, you doing missions. It's fun. It's something fun. If you're in the mood to play something fun where you're just not taking it too serious, cool. But Grand Theft gives you that funny, serious. So if you don't want to do too much funny, don't play Saints Row. Trust me. Don't.
Indeed.
Exactly. And that's basically what we had for Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, once again, in my opinion, I'm gonna give everybody their final opinion on the Grand Theft Auto. Obviously, my opinion for Grand Theft Auto to me is it it just like Prodigal Son said it, and I'm definitely gonna clip what he said in that whole statement. If you guys missed it, it's even worth a rewind. It connected the cultures, and it also made it consumable for everybody to relate and for everybody to actually say, hey, this sounds popular. I want to use it. I want to sound like this character. I'm gonna try to use the lingo myself. And the fact that everybody accepted that when San Andreas was out, I don't see why everybody is accepting it now. It's just mind boggling. Grand Theft Auto to me made every single culture relatable. And that's what Grand Theft Auto, now that I think about it, did for me, because it made every single culture, whether you were Italian, colored, I mean, even Oriental, because there was some Oriental antagonists in that game, and I believe Grand Theft Auto got a touch on Oriental protagonists in its next Grand Theft Auto. Even though I'm hearing a lot, correct me if I'm wrong. Once again, I'm not above correction. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, or even people in the comments who's gonna watch this. Put your comments down in the comment section. Is the new Grand Theft Auto officially a female?
Actually, I don't know, but the way the world is going now, don't be surprised if you could choose between male and female or something like that. And also,
Mhm.
they did have an Oriental protagonist in Grand Theft Auto. It's called the Grand Theft Auto Triad, where
Oh yes!
it was a smaller,
Man, you never cease to amaze me, Drano, with your fucking
Yeah.
knowledge. I forgot about that game.
because it
I'm
was
gonna go
small, it was
cop that game.
smaller.
Is that available on Nintendo?
I'm not sure.
So
I
Grand
think that's
Theft Auto once
PSP.
again
That's PS.
connected the culture, and that's what Grand Theft Auto did for me. It connected the culture, made it consumable, and made it popular. What did Grand Theft Auto, to finalize, do for you guys?
Go ahead,
You can
Drano.
go ahead first.
Oh, you want me to go first? Oh, all right,
Yeah,
I'll
you
step.
lit.
I already went, my dude.
All right. Damn. Grand Theft Auto to me, not saying it's good to be one, but inside of a video game, the life of a criminal, fast money, fast cars, and stuff like that, and the whole mystique of just I'm doing my thing, you get out the way, you're dead, you're dog meat, pal, you get in the way. That's it. I don't know what to tell you.
Mhm.
It's nothing
Mhm.
personal. Sometimes it is discerning in some of these games, depending on the storyline. But it's just a fun way of disconnecting from the real world and just going out and just playing video games and just messing shit up. And you ain't got to pay for it at the end of the day.
That's what's
Yes,
up.
sir.
Oh,
No, man.
Baruko, son, I'm assuming you
Um,
wanna end it. You wanna end it?
I mean, I think Drano said it best, that it's a thing where Grand Theft opened up a whole new world to us. Grand Theft did something for me, like where it just, there was nothing that was unbounded for me. Do whatever you want. What I wanted to do most, especially with CJ's quest, was take over. You had the gang element, and so people would be taking over towns as you're going to do other missions. Some other part of town, their partner's trying to take over that you took over already.
Oh,
They'll
you're
be trying to
right.
take it back over,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd be like,
Oh,
"Oh, that's my turf," and now you got to run over there and go take your turf back. Yo,
I
I'm
hated that sometimes. You had to
loving
drive all
that.
the way over there.
Oh, I'm loving that. I'm like, yo, dude, you'll hop in the car, son. We out. They're
But it
gonna take
happens
it.
sometimes in the middle of a mission.
It don't
that
matter,
did
son.
happen.
They're trying to take our turf right now, son. We
That
out.
that did happen. That did
We
happen.
out. So I love
Sometimes I
that.
was like, take it, man. You know what? Take
Nope,
it.
nope, not having it. Not having it. You know, you touch us
Oh
nothing.
man.
And the yellow team, I can't remember. I think they were Mexicans, but the yellow squad,
Yeah.
they were crazy. They were crazy. They could come hard at you. I'm like, yeah, I like it. I like it. Come on. I like it. But no, but it was Grand Theft was it was just it made it so beautiful when you didn't really have to play the game. They let you do what you wanted to do whenever you wanted to do it, and that was a new way to go for gaming for me. Being exposed to linear games so much. But yeah, that's what I want. And Grand Theft is one of the greatest franchises out there. What you gonna say about it, babe? What you gonna say?
Exactly, man. That's what's up. And that's what we think about Grand Theft Auto. Let us know down in the comments what Grand Theft Auto meant for you. Was it also the combine of the cultures for you? Was it also the fact that you can just blow shit up and be gangster about it? Or was it just the fact that you had a great game and you hid it from your parents on a low that you were able to be gangster with? You know, it is what it is. But hey, thank you most and especially the individuals who are downloading it on Spotify. I really appreciate the support. We really appreciate the support. And like I said, we will notify you of when Prodigal Son and Drano come out with their channels. Make sure you show them some love whenever that happens. And for the people who are also giving it some love on YouTube, I do recommend everybody on Spotify, if you want to watch it also on YouTube so you can get that realism factor, make sure you come check it out on YouTube. Make sure you also support it on YouTube. This is Black Shy Guy, Prodigal Son, Drano the Great, in Chi Town, and the new episode, Grand Theft Auto. We out of here. Peace!
Arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of the suicidal maniac.